I was reading about the Society of Jesus, and I realized, oh, I could have a career in education, a career working for justice and ministry or other things, and be a priest. And I was like, I think I'm in trouble here. 3 years later, here I am.
First Studies is an important moment in the formation of a Jesuit. This is the first mission young Jesuits receive after taking first vows following their time in the novitiate. During these 3 or so years, Jesuits do exactly what you'd guess. They study, typically philosophy and theology, but other academic fields too. Ciszek Hall is a house of First Studies. The Jesuits there take courses at Fordham University. But something new is happening here, something that will impact the global Society of Jesus. These Jesuits are not only studying, they are also active in the Bronx community, learning and serving in a variety of ministry settings. They are discovering how what they learn in the classroom can and should be applied to real-life ministry. They are learning not only from professors, but also from community leaders. The goal is to form Jesuits holistically, to respond to the signs of the times.
So I think in some ways it's not just about academic formation, it's also about apostolic formation, spiritual formation. And it's trying to highlight actually the way all of those things are connected in a person's life, right? So since we don't actually live in these kind of silos in regular life, I think Jesuits really are about creating a whole life. And so this program really is trying to connect academic work with praxis placements, with spirituality.
Study here isn't limited exclusively to what we'd call traditional academic work, but we also have woven in a component of what's called praxis education. We're working with our praxis partners in and around the Bronx community. We're forming, educating these Jesuits for ministry by direct contact with people serving and being served who are poor and marginalized persons here in the Bronx, as well as their spiritual formation.
To enter a context sensitively and effectively, you have to deploy more than one set of skills or one set of competencies. We know from our own experience of the world that any particular issue that we might want to be wrestling with, whether it happens to be interreligious dialogue, whether it happens to be the environment, whether it has to be race and racism, that those things cannot be addressed simply by one bag of tricks, right?
Here at Ciszek, if you go out on Belmont Ave here and you just go left, you're in a neighborhood, and you're in a neighborhood of folks. There's folks from all over, migrants from all over here. There are folks who have lived here for a long, long time.
Is not just a Jesuit residence, so to speak, or a Jesuit-only community, but a Jesuit community that is also a living, learning community that has an eye to our partners here in the Bronx area, and becomes a place of dynamic interaction, dialogue, and reflection as we strive to respond to what God's calling us to do right now at this stage.
Living in the Bronx and working in the Bronx has really just introduced me to different levels of what does it mean for humans to suffer, humans to struggle? What does it mean for a person to come to this country? What does it mean for a person who doesn't have much, but who can still find God active in their life in the course of their everyday?
Praxis sites are foundational to how Jesuits are formed at Ciszek Hall. This is where the academic work comes to life in the community.
Every Wednesday, as part of my praxis, I come here to POTS, which stands for Part of the Solution. So POTS was actually founded by a Jesuit priest at Fordham about 40 years ago. And since then it has grown from primarily a soup kitchen to now, which is a comprehensive community service organization.
Our guys, like when they first arrived, we emphasized a great deal that we're entering humbly as learners, right? Like we're going to POTS, we're going to the Nativity School, we're going to the parish, we're going to Thrive for Life. with humility. We don't know this reality. We're here to learn, and we're here to like really connect and to develop.
This particular client might be coming in maybe for food, but maybe they're not aware that POTS helps with SNAP applications. Maybe a client isn't aware that they're able to see a doctor and a dentist, and if they're lacking insurance, that they can receive that service. So really just being kind of being this door, this connection to those clients to be able to lead to other services that could lead to sustainability for them.
Ty and Jose are really amazing when they're here. I get to talk to them about what accompaniment and hospitality means in a different sense than maybe other volunteers. So talking to them about like being present in the community and accompanying community members and accompanying people who are on the margins, is just a regular conversation between me and Ty and Jose.
And what this has really impressed upon me in my time here at POTS is just the level of burdens that people around us do carry. Burdens they might carry as an undocumented immigrant, burdens they might carry as someone who lost their job in the pandemic, burdens they might carry as someone who has children with various mental illnesses or disabilities that they may not have the resources to necessarily fully help out with. But what has struck me in the midst of all this is how joy finds a way, resilience finds a way, and for some of our clients especially, how God is still active in the midst of all these struggles.
Ty and Jose are only here for 2 years, I think, and so I'm hoping that this is like a really good grounding and foundation for them to use that here and figure out how to use that everywhere else.
One of our hopes is that we can individually and collectively accompany guys as they're encountering these realities, as they're praying deeply and really trying to listen to how God continues to move in them, in their hearts, in their own vocation, and collectively how that gets played out.
I hope to emerge from my experience here at Ciszek as a Jesuit that is open to continually being surprised by the way the Lord works in the mission that I'm assigned, in the people that I encounter.
Even though we use the formation term and that we are forming people, I actually think God is the one that is forming them, right? It's about calling out from them the people they are meant to be. That God is really shaping the Jesuit that God needs and God wants right now, and that happens in conversation with the stuff that they're learning and the people that they're serving, the people they're accompanying or walking with. So I feel like the whole notion of vocation really, even though the fundamental vocation seems to be clear, they're here, they took their vows, but this is now a time where that vocation really is being sort of specified, and I think they're growing into it, so it's not just a coat that they've put on, but this is now it's becoming who they are.